everybody, this is Roxanne Castle. She is a co-founder of Love Hill Farm, and we're gonna interview her a little bit so you get to know her. Let's start with, what is the hardest part that you've come across of starting this whole flower farm?
I think, once we started kind of planning what we wanted to put in the beds, and I mean, I know just watching AJ calculate, the quantities and stuff like that, and the succession planting to make sure that we've got enough of everything in each bed, that has really been not even mind-blowing, mind-numbing. It's crazy how much actually has to go into that. You just think to yourself, okay, I'm going to have some of this, but it doesn't actually work like that. And I think that has probably been the most overwhelming.
Yeah. How did this idea of Love Hill Farm come about?
I think we've always, from the time we stayed in North Carolina, it was always an idea of we wanting to do something together. And of course I had started nursing school, and we kind of just carried on. And then the one day AJ was like, how about this? And I think we instantly actually we were overcome with excitement, which it doesn't take a lot for us. We feel off each other's energy. But I think that once that kind of, excuse the pun, but seed was planted, it just erupted. I think just the idea became so exciting, and the way everything worked out, it was just one of those things where it's meant to be.
And it's been something that y'all love to do together, and that's what makes it so fun.
Yes,
I think it's worth all of the stress and the math.
There have been times where it's been like, oh, this is a lot, but then I think it's just overshadowed by really the fun of it, the joy of it.
Definitely. What makes Love Hill Farm unique?
Where do I start? It's gonna be gorgeous. I think the fact that we're not just offering, a product of flowers. I think the most important thing for us really has been the undertone of the feeling you have when you're there. Whether it's peace, whether it's tranquility, the joy of being surrounded by beautiful things. It really has, for me, definitely been the feeling of, I think, the love and the time that's been put into it, but really just to make a place where you can go to, whether it's just enjoy the beauty of nature or just, shut out the world or enjoy family time. It's one of those places that kind of offer all of those things. And I mean, the world could use
definitely
a lot more beauty.
Where did the name come from?
So it's a funny story. This is a funny story because this is where I think it originated from, was whenever, like, we used to come up from North Carolina to visit, and you're putting in like the GPS, it always, the house always came up as Love Hill. That was the area, Love Hill, which was so, because it's not an existing area, like Catoosa County or, but it always came up as Love Hill, and I just thought that was so incredibly sentimental because, just, I guess, the family dynamic and the kind of people, that they have always been. It was just super appropriate because it's a place that's just filled with love and caring. So it is really funny that that's actually how it came up. That's how I know it, I've just always known it as Love Hill, which is just how my best friends stay.
How are you preparing for when the farm does open for the public?
That is the question. I don't know, when you're going into such a new adventure, I don't know if you can ever truly be prepared. But I think, as long as we have our bases covered, I think a priority for us really has been that it's all about the beauty, all the flowers. We really do want to make it feel like you're in just a whole different world.
Definitely.
So in terms of preparing, we're trying to get the layout comfortable so that it accommodates everybody. I think that's been one of the things that we've tried to consider, is that it will accommodate people from little kids to older people, to wheelchairs, to we've made sure that everybody can access it. And I think that has probably been one of our main focuses when designing the layout, and preparing for hopefully everybody when they come. And I think especially the greenhouse, we're really, really excited about that, because I think it's
going to be so pretty.
It's going to be gorgeous. I think it's going to be this place that it's going to feel like a whole world of its own. And I think just preparing just to make it as as beautiful in real life as what it is in our imaginations, is if we can get it even halfway there, I think it's going to be beautiful, spectacular.
Definitely. Last question, probably the most important question, is how have you maintained and made sure to keep God as the center and the whole reason for what you're doing?
Well, ultimately He's the creator of everything, the creator of life, the creator of earth, the creator of flowers and everything beautiful. So I think it's very easy to think about those things when you're watching stuff grow from seed. It's such a reminder, constant reminder of how things start off, and what they actually grow up to be. And that's ultimately, that is a true representation of what he has created. And I think it's so important that we remember that, because it's just, there is beauty in everything that He has created. We're just fortunate enough to have the opportunity where we can create something that represents and shows just a fraction of the beauty that He has blessed us with. And I think that is probably the true undertone of everything that we do. And so it's really important for us that He is at the forefront and center of it all. And really excited to just see just everything literally grow.
It just gives a good representation of how we all start from somewhere, and being able to document the whole process of growth and seeing the beauty in each step of everything. It's really awesome, and it's a really good reminder that not everybody is at their peak and not everybody's at the very beginning. We're all somewhere along the way.
That is true. At some stage, I'm sure sometimes we all feel lost, but He's always there. Sometimes we just have to look in the right places. And I think that it's a beautiful reminder of how even some of our smallest seeds, literally tiny seeds that, if they ever drops, it's gone. But some of our biggest flowers and our biggest bloomers start off as tiny seeds.
That's a really good thing to think about. It's a really good reminder watching plants grow and being able to look at it as, in our lives, they grow towards the sun, towards the light, towards the sun. So that reminds us every single day that we should be growing towards the sun, ultimately Jesus, towards Jesus. And plants are a physical reminder that to thrive, they need the light. And that,
they do.
That's a really good reminder for us.
They do. It was so funny the other day when we kind of went into the greenhouse and we realized that everything that was on the side of the wall was all like kind of growing towards the towards the light, and we had to kind of just like shift it. So hopefully it grows up straight, but the next day it's all facing there again. And there's probably a lesson in there for us as well, is that, we keep growing as long as we're on the right path.
Yeah.
They are a good representation of life in general. Because even once they die off, they come back even bigger.
Yeah.
The next year. So I think that's also going to be a really exciting point for us, is to kind of,
see
watch
how the waves of the growth.
Watch how it goes, and then just watch it all come back next year bigger and better. So
it's also a life lesson in itself.
We have learned a good amount of life lessons these last few weeks, but it's good.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Definitely. This is Roxanne, and
see you at the farm.